next guest has got another big fight. He's going to be taking on Chito Vera, UFC Iowa, May 3rd. It is Mario Bautista back here on the program. Mario, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you.
Hey, well, that's good to hear. When did you find out about this fight? Because obviously you got a bit of time before this one takes place. So when did you get notice that you'd be fighting Chito Vera?
It was about a few months ago. I figured, I got told it was going to be Chito, but we were just trying to figure out a date for the fight. So there was like multiple, ideas, like UFC Mexico. There was a couple other ones, and then it finally got hopefully settled on May 3rd. So
okay.
Looking forward to it.
Interesting. Usually it's the other way around. You get the date first, and then they figure out the opponent. So it was always Chito, and then it was just a matter of the right fit, I guess.
Yeah. I'm assuming just like, since I'm higher up in the rankings, it's just kind of easier to like set up who's going to go with who, and then, finding a date afterwards. So that's just the way it worked out.
And by the sounds of it, there weren't any other opponents in the mix, or was it always Chito? Was he sort of the name that was on that was sort of given to you and talked about for your next fight?
Yeah. That was the first name that was given. That was one that was in the works. And, it kind of makes sense. He's coming off of 2 losses, fought for the title, fought Figgy, and I'm on my way up. So we're kind of like meeting in the middle there. So, that was the first offer, and that's one we're taking. So.
No, I'm guessing no mention of Cejudo. You guys had that great back and forth. The credit to Jakar Close, by the way, who filmed that. And I saw every media outlet take that video and take credit for it. But it was Jakar who deserves the cameraman work there. But no talks to Cejudo, because I know that would have been interesting just based off your interaction you guys had months ago.
Yeah, no, nothing about Cejudo. I was hoping maybe that would kind of get something started up for us.
Yeah.
But he ended up, taking that Song Yadong fight instead. But no, I haven't heard anything. And just time-wise, even if he did want to fight now, I wouldn't want to wait until he's ready to come back, because who knows when that would be.
Yeah.
So, I was just, hoping to get things going. He talked some, not like smack on Twitter, but like, you're just talking like you're never going to see me. We live in the same state or same city, and we go to these fights and stuff. I'm eventually going to run into you. And that's exactly what happened. So.
Yeah, too bad.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll see. Although maybe he might go to 25. Who knows what's going on with him after that last fight with Song Yadong. Speaking of which, what did you think of that whole thing? Obviously, they called it a win for Song Yadong. I know that's in the rules. I guess if you're up on the scorecards and it ends in a poke, it does get awarded to the other fighter. What did you think of that whole thing?
I thought it was like it was super weird. I think he definitely got poked in the eye. That thing went in pretty deep. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I think he just tried to play the rules and. Try to play the system a little bit, but it's just, I don't know if he fully understood it or not, or but it kind of backfired on him, because he took that whole 5 minutes. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone really take the full 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of a bad idea. You're kind of gassing Song Yadong, and you're starting to get the upper hand in the fight. And then you give Song Yadong a whole 5 minute break, and he was already winning the first and second because he comes out, fast and hard. And that's exactly what happened after the break. And, maybe Cejudo didn't like the way it was going after that break, and decided, he couldn't fight. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was just a weird situation. I think it just backfired on Henry.
Now I got to ask, because obviously this is something we talked about in our last interview. I know you got a lot of backlash after your last fight with Jose Aldo. Did it get worse beyond our last interview? Because I think we talked a couple days after, and it seemed like people kept going on about it. How have things been basically since that fight? Because fans don't seem very forgiving for that whole situation.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it got worse, but it has lasted a long time. I feel like I still get like little messages here and there. So it didn't get any worse than the initial first month or so. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's still ongoing.
And just last thing on that, because I don't think we talked, I think I found about this after our interview, but did you hear about, who MMA Guru is? He's been on O'Malley's podcast, and he had apparently a $10,000 bounty for some fighter to knock you unconscious. Were you aware of this?
Yeah, I didn't know who MMA Guru was until after that fight. So no, it was pretty crazy, to have a little bounty on me. So I don't know. Maybe if that time comes, he's gonna have to really pay up. But
do you think you should get something in return if someone doesn't knock you out? I think you should get some money back the other way. I think that's only fair.
Yeah, if someone doesn't do it, maybe you should give me at least half of it or all of it or something.
There you go. That makes sense. Let's talk about Chito Vera. How do you feel like your style matches up against his in this fight?
No, I think Chito's very well rounded. Like not only striking and not only grappling. I think maybe in the wrestling department, I might have the upper hand. But you know, he's a great fighter. He's very tough. He's fought for the title. He's got himself all the way up there, and he's been around the sport for a very long time. So I think it's going to be a great fight. He's a real dangerous opponent. So I'm excited to test myself against him.
Anything different for this camp? Obviously, if you're winning fights, no need to change too much. But you train at a great team over there at the lab. With a great like I think you guys must have the most ranked bantamweights, or at least active bantamweights at your gym. So a lot of good work there. But who are you mainly working with ahead of this fight?
Oh, anyone that can give me that kind of Chito Vera look. Mm-hmm. It's always like the younger guys, the guys that aren't really in the main picture as far as like, me, Kyler, Marcus, it's the other guys that help us grow. So not only do me and Marcus and Kyler work with each other, but it's mainly those other guys that kind of help us, prepare for fights. And we got a lot of young guys, a lot of 35ers, 45ers working their way up too, just the way that me, Marcus, and Kyler did. So those are the guys that kind of help me out.
Yeah, probably a good mix too, like of up and comers, like you mentioned, which must feel kind of weird now because that was you at one point with Kyler and these other guys, and now you guys are the veterans. Is that kind of a bit different now, being in the gym that way?
Yeah, because that's what it's slowly turning into. Like, we're the veterans now because, like I said, when we showed up, me, Kyler, and Sean, Sugar,
yeah,
we were like 19, 20, and I think Sean was like 18 at the time.
Yeah.
So it just shows that we've been there for a very long time. And, some of these young guys coming up, man, the talent of these younger guys coming up, it's pretty crazy. So I'm excited to see like where they go from here on. And I, and myself giving back to them.
Have you spoken to or trained with O'Malley recently at all? I know he's kind of taken a step back from social media. We're still waiting to hear when that fight with Merab's going to happen. It does certainly seems like the rematch is next, but any sort of update from your end on O'Malley?
No, I haven't. I think the last time I seen Sean, maybe like a few weeks ago, he came into the gym. He helped corner one of the young guys there, Ezra
Nice.
Elliott. So he came and stopped by and said hi and everything. So I don't know. It's just like old times, we just kind of click back together. I wish he'd come back to the gym, but I think he's happy where he's at.
Yeah, that makes sense. Vinny Diaz, you train with him. He's a Canadian guy. He trains down with you guys. He just got a win a few weeks ago. What can you say about him? Because I know he's been sort of a newer addition to the gym.
Yeah, Vinny's been a solid guy. He's great to work with. Good jiu-jitsu, and we've actually had quite a few Canadian guys come down. God, I don't know his last name. It's kind of hard to pronounce, but his name's Serhi. He's fighting on
Serhi
that
Sidey. Yeah, I know Serhi Sidey. Yeah, of course.
So
yeah.
Serhi's been down here. I think he's only down here for 3 weeks.
Oh, no way. Okay, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's been a great help. I actually partnered up with him yesterday, and he's a great guy too. He's a great student, and all those guys, and they're really nice. And after everything they say, "Hey, what up? How's that going? Hey, this is pretty good, eh?"
There's a few like different things that are pronounced differently. Like I know some Americans say rough instead of roof. We say roof here. Is that different?
Oh, yeah. I think we'd say rough.
We say roof.
I know. Yeah, I know a few guys that kind of live like in North Dakota. Like the closer they are to Canada, they instead of like mountain, they'd say mountain.
Mootin?
They'd pronounce it a little differently, but
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other difference too, like, well, you guys don't have to deal with this because it's warm there all the time, but like, what you guys call beanies, we call those toques in Canada. I don't know if you knew that.
Toques? No, I didn't.
There you go. We're learning some Canadian culture here in this interview. It's great. Obviously, lots of time before the weight cut. Does the weight cut get harder as you get older, or is it pretty much the same system and you kind of got it dialed in?
Oh no, I think I have it pretty dialed in. For this camp actually before I want to say like 4 weeks ago, I actually went to the UFC PI just to do their physical testing and whatnot. And yeah, everything kind of lined up. They told me not to get any bigger because I'm like kind of riding on the edge there. So, but I've always made weight before and I've never had an issue with it. It's just all in preparation.
I imagine your corner, John Crouch. Who else is going to be in the cage with you for this fight? Do you know that yet? I know we got some time, obviously.
Yeah, no, I got John Crouch, Randy Stanky, and Yadi Mesa. They're going to be my kind of coaches for that. And then I'm also bringing Jose Delgado, who
I know Jose.
He just had his UFC debut, and man, he's been looking awesome. So, and he's going to be giving me a good look as far as like for Chito. So I'll definitely be using him for this camp. So I'll be bringing him along to Iowa with me.
How's this fight playing out? I mean, you can never really be in a bad Chito Vera fight. He's always bringing it, and it's going to be an interesting matchup. So how do you see this fight unfolding on May 3rd?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight. Like I said, like Chito's very tough, and he comes forward, and he's not going to leave himself in bad spots. So definitely got to be ready for all 15 minutes. Chito's very tough. He takes some hard shots. We all seen that knee that he took from Sean. So, he's gonna take it and he's gonna give. So I'm looking forward to like an exciting fight with him.
You just beat the legend Jose Aldo. You go out there and beat Chito Vera, who's obviously ranked pretty high too. We got to be getting to that point where we're starting to talk about a title shot. Like, how far away do you think you are with another big win here? Not again looking past Chito Vera in this fight.
Yeah, no, I think with Chito Vera, it all depends on like the performance. I think if I were to get a finish, that would definitely put me in talks, and I would still have to fight someone from the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
But if I can get a finish over Chito, because I don't think he's ever been finished before.
No, he hasn't. No.
So that would definitely kind of put like a little stamp on everything, and I can get my top 5 fight, and then pending that performance, see where we go from there.
And I imagine I've mentioned this to you before, but obviously, like I said, it looks like O'Malley's going to be fighting Merab next. Do you have that conversation with O'Malley about, hey, if I'm getting up there to the title shot, like, is that something you talk with him after this rematch type thing?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I don't know. It's just weird to have that conversation if we're not even kind of there yet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it would take a bit, right? I think you'd need another fight or two, like, to get a title shot, just in that, because the division's deep as it is, right? So.
Exactly. And who knows, once I get closer, and who knows what Sean's plans are. Like, is he going to defend it a few times? Is he going to move up and try, like a super fight kind of thing? So I'm not exactly sure what his plans are, but I can only really focus on myself and just, keep winning fights.
In terms of a rematch, what are some things you think could be different for Sean if he does fight, Merab next? Because obviously Merab has looked good against pretty much everyone, right?
Yeah. No, I think Sean did, pretty good, like with his little hip thing that he had. I don't know. He's going to have to go out there, find the range, stuff a few shots. And Sean does have that power to kind of stop Merab and kind of put him out. So hopefully a little bit more range work, getting up, and probably go back to that body, because we've seen in the 5th round he threw that body shot, that teep. So hopefully start off with that a little bit more, maybe slow him down and possibly hurt Merab. So hopefully I think he's going to make those little changes from his last fight.
What did you think of Merab's win over Umar? That was pretty impressive with him, because again, I think he was the underdog. People were counting him out, and he went out there and he defeated the undefeated Umar Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, no, I was pretty impressed with that, because I had Umar picked for that fight. I thought Umar had like the better jiu-jitsu, and I thought he was going to be able to deal with the wrestling, but Merab just has a gas tank on him, and he just keeps coming, and kind of put it on Umar and kind of exploited his I wouldn't say cardio issue, because I think everyone's going to have a cardio issue against Merab, but kind of exploited that on him.
Before we go, we were talking off air. You had spring break last week for your daughter. So how did it go? What did she get up to? What did you guys get up to? How do you deal with that? Because it's tough when the kid's not in school. You got to find something for them to do.
Yeah, no, we just we had fun with her. Kind of spent time with her, because with the schedule and kind of being in camp, her being in school, I'm at the gym. So we got to bring her to the gym a few times. She had a few sleepovers with some of her friends and cousins. And then we tried making a little trip to the zoo. It was a little bit of a cold day here in Phoenix, but we tried to make the most of it.
That's good. Don't they have a daycare at the lab, do they not?
Yeah, they have a little kids corner there. And she's been going with me, I think ever since she was like 4 months old. So now that she's in school, she's not there as often, but yeah, she goes back. Or I go there, and all of her friends ask me all the time, when's Zaddy coming? When is she coming back? So she's excited to go back any chance she gets.
Awesome. Mario, thanks for doing this, man. UFC Iowa, May 3rd. You don't want to miss it. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
I just want to thank my lab team, as always. Iridium Sports Agency, and then also want to thank you. I think we've been doing interviews for a while now, so I appreciate the time you put out for me.